Well, welcome everyone to A Course in Miracles talk, meditation, and this group is called the Zoom to Miracles group. That's the Facebook group name for this group, and notifications about this group are up in that group, and we just use it simply for group. We don't kind of post too much in there. Just leave it there for notifications and different things, so it's easy to find. So here you start off with this beautiful smile, and of course there's, basically we are that smile. We are that love. We are that gentle smile. So let's just feel that love in our heart and just drop into it. If you've kind of rushed around a little bit to get here, just sat down, put the Zoom on, that just gives you a chance to rest for a few minutes. Just let go, just feel your shoulders falling down. Just feel just a rest. And then this is our practice at the start of each group, where we just practice getting in touch with that all-encompassing love. So it's abstract because it's not part of the ego. So we're joining something that, for the start, is going to feel strange, because this love loves. It just loves. It doesn't have something to love. It is just love. So we're joining a love that is not of this world, and it's within us. And we can contact it, and we can experience it and feel it. And so the more we practice this, the more it starts to become alive in us, and we get in more and more contact with it, more and more easily. And then we can have our beingness in it. And it is us. So as we experience this love, we realise there's no separation between us and this love. And therefore the separation is healed. So extending God's love is a practice until there's a realisation that we don't need to extend it. It's just in us, as us, of us. And words just cease to be, and we have our beingness in it, joined in that love, a oneness, joined as one love, one infinite peace. So we're just going to feel ourselves extending that, getting in touch with it, allowing it. There's no thoughts in this love. There's no object of this love. It's just all-encompassing. So it's everywhere, in all, as all. So we're going to just let this experience come through us. Feel it. Even if you only have a little feeling of it, just a touch of it. And what I want you to do now is feel that extending in any way that makes sense to you. The Holy Spirit, the right mind, will bring something into your awareness that helps you put some experience to this of extending it, whether it be light, whether it be just a feeling, whether it be rainbow colours. But you're going to lose yourself, because there's no separate self in this love. It's just pure love, and it envelops everything and is everything. I just see it coming from you out, and you merging with it. if you like to, just feel everyone in the world is included in this love. They're surrounded by it. It's through them. It is them. If you can, feel that there's nowhere this love is not. You might even have the experience of disappearing into the heart of God, just disappearing into this love. Just let go and go into it. So this particular practice, you can do this if you find you wake up at night in fear. Perfect love casts that fear. You can use this practice in however you did it. If it was a little bit different to how I instructed it, that's okay, because that's the Holy Spirit taking something that I'm saying and using it in a way that you can feel it and will use it. He might have brought some other words from the Course into your mind during that time. That's for you. So validate that's the way he does this with you. And he also, I was guided to share that if you are going to meet someone and you feel some fear about it, you can simply do this. Feel that you're extending love, God's love, infinite love, a love that has no boundaries, a love that is not loving a person. It's not a personal love. So we can use this practice in our daily lives to shift ourselves from fear to love. So we do this practice each Zoom meeting to start with. So in times where you get a lot of fear, you can simply remember this. Say, okay, I'm going into this practice. I'm just going to extend love to this person or this group of people or whatever the situation is. And just feel a heart full of love, and then loving everyone. You might like to see some kind of light go around them and love them, or you just feel yourself extending it. And it's as simple as that. It only takes a few seconds to shift your mind from fear to love. So welcome everyone that's just come onto the group while we were doing that practice, forgiveness practice. And welcome again. So this is our second week of joining with Jesus. Next week we will be doing our Christ blessings again in some format. Who knows? It'll be given. So joining with Jesus. So last week we had some beautiful sharings, and maybe he did guide me that should you do it in this group or with other groups or just by yourself, it may not work straight away, but if you keep doing it, it will work. So we have to recognize, first of all, that we feel unworthy to come to Jesus. There's an unworthiness. How can we come to Jesus? He's pure, right? We have to, if you do have those beliefs, that egoic belief and fear, it's good to recognize it and remember that he says to not make ourselves holy for him. That's his job. His job is for us to bring everything to him. So we invite him in and we give him or tell him that we have a belief in our guilt. We have a belief in separation. We have a belief that we are sinful. And he has the light to dispel it. He has the light to dispel darkness. He has the truth to dispel lies. He has the wisdom to light up our mind with the truth. But the reason why we use Jesus as a symbol is that he is the symbol in our mind of pure divine love. So he's a wonderful symbol. Now, if you prefer the Holy Spirit is the pure divine love for you and you feel more connected to that, you can just use those words instead of the word Jesus. It doesn't matter. So today we'll be reading some sections from the Christ in You. And so how it works with joining with Jesus is that we bring our beliefs to him. Our belief that we're sinful, our belief that we're guilty, our belief that we're separate. And he shines them away by his love. So when we join with him, when we invite him in, and if someone else can join with him in their mind, so can you. Right? This is not, somebody has no special skills. It's simply your willingness to want to be with him and to even take your fear of him with you and say, I want to join you because could you please dispel this fear I have of you? You bring everything to him. So he is the symbol in our mind that we can give over to say, heal me of these beliefs. And so he heals us of those beliefs. And then through that healing, we become the same as him in our mind. Our mind gets healed of those false beliefs that are very ingrained in our mind. And he heals them. And then when they're healed, we have exactly the same mind as him. And so in this section, the Christ in You, he's telling us that we then can do exactly what he did. He seemed to be a man and we seem to be in a body, but we can bring that same essence of that Christ self, that Christ mind through us. And so there's no difference. And he says he's an older brother and he will lead us and love us till we've healed our mind into our Christ mind. And that Christ mind has no difference between it and God's mind, because the Christ mind is pure and perfect and whole and innocent and guiltless and sinless. It has no aspect of sin It's like just purity. And there's not one part of purity that has a bit of spot of darkness in it. There's my hand gone up again. So it's really nice to remember how this works, that he heals us and we work alongside that with healing our mind of how we see our brothers. And as we do the Christ blessing and as we work with Jesus, with him blessing us with his holiness, healing our mind, it all works together to completely dissolve this falseness about ourselves, these false beliefs. It heals the separation because the ego is undone, because the ego is fear, guilt and sin in our mind, judgment, comparison, all coming from guilt and separation, and it gets healed. It's not easy, but it's doable, because if one of us can do it, and Jesus did it, we can do it. We can. It takes willingness and dedication, because the ego is a little trickster and it tries to kind of like have its little say all the time. And we are not the ego. It's a thought system of lies. And where once we believed it, we're letting go of the belief in it. And we're now believing Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the truth about who we are and where we are. We are spirit and not bodies. We're not in a world. We're the love of God. We're in God's mind, which is just heaven, love. That's where we are. And we can experience that while still seeming to be in bodies. So we're in a world, but not of it. We have our beingness with this infinite love, this eternal love. So let's get on with the reading today, the Christ in you. So I'm just going to read the first couple of lines of this first paragraph. And if you just prefer to sit and listen, it's really nice just to sit with this. The Christ in you is very still. Just let that be said and feel it. I'll just say that again. The Christ in you is very still. Feel that stillness. He looks on what he loves. So that's the Christ in you, right? We're not talking about Jesus here. He's telling us that stillness and that awareness and that center that we are, where the Christ abides in our mind, he looks on what he loves and he knows it as himself. In other words, you just see the Christ everywhere, the holiness, love and peace and holiness. And thus does he rejoice at what he sees. Because we can only see in the world what's in our mind. When we have our Christ mind full of holiness and love, we just rejoice because we're seeing everything, seeing Christ, the holiness everywhere, because he knows that it is one with him and with his Father. That's the only 2 lines I'm going to read from this section. And Shannon, I'm just going to ask you to read paragraph 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Where could your peace arise but from forgiveness? The Christ in you looks only on the truth and sees no condemnation that could need forgiveness. He is at peace because he sees no sin. Identify with him, and what has he that you have not? He is your eyes, your ears, your hands, your feet. How gentle the sights he sees, the sounds he hears. How beautiful his hand that holds his brother's, and how lovingly he walks beside him, showing him what can be seen and heard, and where he will see nothing, and there is no sound to hear.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm just going to read one line from paragraph 5 and then a couple of lines from paragraph 6. Rejoice, you have no eyes with which to see, no ears to listen, and no hands to hold, nor feet to guide. Be glad that only Christ can lend you his, while you have need of them. The Christ in you is very still. He knows where you are going, and he leads you there in gentleness and blessing all the way. His love for God replaces all the fear you thought you saw within yourself. His holiness shows you himself in him whose hand you hold and whom you lead to him. And what you see is like yourself. For what but Christ is there to see and hear and love and follow home? He looked upon you first, but recognized that you were not complete, and so he sought for your completion in each living thing that he beholds and loves, and seeks it still, that each might offer you the love of God. I was just going to say something about His holiness shows you himself in him whose hand you hold and whom you lead to him. I remember Shannon saying that Jesus guided her, that she was to take other people's hands, like her hand holding theirs and putting it in Jesus's hand. And this is what he's saying here. So we hold Jesus's hand and we lead our brother's hand to Jesus. So that's what we do by our connection to him. So that's all Shannon and I are doing today, is giving you some format, some form to doing this. And so what you can do is you can take a hand and put it in his, or say, reach out your hand. You can trust him and put your hand in his. And that's really what you can do. So this is, as we come to this Christ mind, it expands in others through our trust and our inner radiance that he is the way. And he says, then we become the way, the truth, and the life. So, and then as others feel um, comforted and certainty of that through us, then they become the way, the truth, and the life. And that's how the expanding network of miracles goes out. So, like, there's a little group of 45 here today. But if you can imagine each of us having 45 around us, that we can shine the light for them in their mind. And so it's like expanding and expanding, and then those 45 have 45. And sometimes it's a little bit like you might have one, and that one then goes out to lead thousands. So it's not always 45, 45. He showed me it doesn't matter how many are around you, not to worry about numbers. He says just to do it, just to be it, just to live it, to give the certainty to it. And he takes care of the rest. So, Shannon, would you like to start reading at paragraph 7? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Kate. Yet is he quiet, for he knows that love is in you now and safely held in you by that same hand that holds your brothers in your own. Christ's hand holds all his brothers in himself. He gives them vision for their sightless eyes and sings to them of heaven, that their ears may hear no more the sound of battle and of death. He reaches through them, holding out his hand, that everyone may bless all living things and see their holiness. And he rejoices that these sights are yours, to look upon with him and share his joy. His perfect lack of specialness he offers you, that you may save all living things from death, receiving from each one the gift of life that your forgiveness offers to yourself. This sight of Christ is all there is to see. The song of Christ is all there is to hear. The hand of Christ is all there is to hold. There is no journey but to walk with him. That's beautiful.
Shannon, did you want to say anything more about your just that joining of hands with Jesus and how that works?
Yeah, sure. The one thing that Jesus shared with me over and over again is that like he isn't accessible outside of ourselves. You know, it's only within where we are able to join with him and learn from him. And so what he has me do a lot is just point everyone inward, whether it be a meditation or just a feeling. And I love the first sentence of this section. The Christ in you is very still, because that's really what we're pointing to, and that's what we're being, and then we share in that together. So I've shared before about the holy walks that he had me do, and it was really about like where he says here, reach through. Trying to find it now. He reaches through them, holding out his hand, that everyone may bless all living things and see their holiness. And as I would walk with him and bless everyone, that's what he was doing. And I was seeing everyone's holiness and feeling it. It's like a feeling. And it was so beautiful. And I mean, it ends up being that we just are that in every moment with everyone and everything. But that's how he introduced me to it. And the way that he reaches through is just it's a blessing that you're giving, but it's a feeling that's beyond anything you've ever felt before. And it's just so full, and it just comes through, and you get it along with whoever is like in front of you projecting, receiving it. So yeah, I feel like that was really how he did that with me. And now it's kind of more about like the meditations that he guides me to take people through, and just like that connection with him, because that feeling is there always as we join with him. So thanks, Kate.
Shannon, before you mute, are you feeling any guidance on any meditation today? No.
No, I'm not really feeling anything at this moment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's guided me to do another meditation with the group. And as I was reading, or as Shannon and I were reading this section, he's guiding me to also for you to think of holding his hand. If you feel to be with him is too much of a leap for your mind. So if you just want to close your eyes and just let go and relax. And I'm just going to do the prayer to invite him in. You can say your own prayer if you like, however you want, or you can just use my words. So, Jesus, we are here. I am here. I just bring everything to you, everything that's not healed. I just come, invite you in, knowing that you want to be with me. You want to be with me and will be with me by my invitation and request. I understand that I'm not trying not to make myself holy for you. That's your job. And so just invite him in and just say some words to yourself, or to him by yourself. And you can just let it take it, or take it where it goes. You're probably getting some images and some feelings. If you're struggling with this, just feel he's an older brother and he's got his hand out to you, and all you need to do is take his hand and then let him lead you from there on. And we'll just be quiet for 20 minutes and let this visualization, and if you feel you go out of it, just simply go back in, invite him in and hold his hand. Okay. Just allow yourself a few minutes just to come out of that. Just gently. And just know that as you were connecting with him in whatever way it was, he's always there. He told me he's as close as my breath. So you can have this idea that, he's busy. He's got a busy schedule. But we're putting worldly things onto him. He's a aspect of our mind that is us, but we're using a symbol of Jesus for the purpose to realize that that is us. But while we think that's not us, that symbol is extremely helpful and will lead us, and we can trust it. So I'd like to ask if anyone would like to share anything experience they had in that meditation, or anything they had during the week from last week's meditation, or like Monica shared last week, anything that you've had in the past, do you think might be helpful to share on this video for others to bring about certainty that he is there and he is helping? You're like, I'm at auction. There, you put your hand up to bid. Okay, Adrian. So just before, Adrian, you'll be on the video. Is that all right? If you don't want your image to appear, you can take your image off if you like. So, all right, I'm just going to ask you to unmute. There we go. I think that, not sure how that works. Okay, here we go. Thanks, Adrian.
Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Can you?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning here. I happened to wake like 15 minutes before. I thought I'll just log on. So I definitely went and felt a very deep stillness and peace there, and then fell asleep and then woke up again. But that was lovely. But I suppose I wanted to share this a couple of weeks ago, when yeah, I just had an experience. I was after watching one of your videos, Kate, and I started reading that book that Myron Jones wrote about her relationship with the Holy Spirit, um and anyway, just something happened one day on the couch. I just felt really, really close to Jesus, I suppose. And as what happens with me, sometimes I just start bawling, crying, I think, and it's very joyful, happy tears, like, but it's a very yeah, it was just really beautiful, And sometimes when I kind of tell myself, oh, I have to really be feeling that and be crying to to be in touch. But of course, that's not true. Like, I can be in touch all the time, but it was just really special. Like, and yeah, so just wanted to share that. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Adrian. And I know Adrian has contacted me from time to time on Messenger, just having little voice messages or text messages to each other. It's been lovely to hear that you have got that trust and you are feeling it. It's because it's that experience that changes us. It really is. It's that just that letting go and saying, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And even in that 20 minutes, even if you had only 10 seconds of something, that's wonderful. That's what you should be validating at the end of the session, that I actually had 10 seconds of feeling something different to my normal experience. Because it's easy for the ego to look at the other 19 minutes and 50 seconds and completely discount that beautiful holy instant. Whereas Jesus says, no, you've got to really validate these holy instants and they're getting you closer. So
Yeah,
we do have a...
Sorry, Kate. Go.
You go, Adrian.
I just noticed like there's a lot of the fear has dropped away lately. Like I had to talk to my ex-wife about something today briefly, and it was something that, it was around maintenance and money and, those difficult sort of subjects. And I would have had real difficulty with that in the past. And today I just didn't care. I wasn't a bit worried about what she thought. And I was seeing her. I've done a lot of work on seeing her as Christ and seeing the Christ in her. And I suppose it's kind of working, is what I'm saying. Like, so I'm just very grateful for that. It's great. So thank you for all your help.
Yeah. I mean, thank you, Adrian. That's beautiful, because that Christ blessing, or just saying holiness, or whatever you do, it really helps. It helps shift that egoic perception of somebody outside you that seems to be angry or, irritated, and you walk on eggshells. So if we start to see the holiness, kind of takes that whole story away from the past. We're trying to let go of the past and come into the now, the present, which is always here, and see in holiness the holy now, the holy instant. Would anyone else like to share anything? You're most welcome to. Yes, Nancy. You go ahead, Nancy.
There. Yes. While we were meditating, Jesus showed me this big love. Really, really big love. And led me into it by hand. That's the only way I would have gone into it, because it was so big. And I had an upset this morning that was on my mind, and it was an encounter with someone, and he told me to give that big love to this person in my mind. So I did it. And then my mind kind of, he talked to me a little bit, and I kind of blocked it out. The ego kind of blocked it out. So I don't know what happened after that. But it was surely very powerful for both of us. It joined both me and this person. So thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks for sharing that. Monica, would you like to?
There. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Hi, everybody. It was really beautiful today, Kate, and there's just such a beautiful light and love that is kind of embracing me. And there's been so many prayers lately about show me how to not get triggered by anything in this world, to look beyond the error and see what he sees. And yeah, there was this beautiful, just this embrace of such incredible love, and having me look on others that way. And there's still some hooks that pull me in, and people's attitudes, their behaviors. There are certain ones that I really get triggered with, and I was kind of shown that it's a call for love. And I've read that 1,000 times, but just the deepening of that, and that it's not them, they're just not fully awake, and are that ego thought system is just being they're tuned into that, and it's not who they truly are. And it helped me to step back a little bit and see that it's got nothing to do with the truth of who they are. So that was really, really helpful. And during this experience, it really reminded me of an experience I had with Jesus about a year ago. There were so many similarities and in what I was being shown, and it was at a time that I was just really struggling with a lot of darkness and a lot of this deeply buried shame and unworthiness and self-hate and not forgiving myself for so many things. I didn't even know what it was. It just felt so dark. And I just kept handing it over and handing it over and handing it over. And then I felt his presence with me. And I had this image of walking along the path through the mountains. And there was just so much symbolism in this connection, this time with him. And in this experience, I had no eyes. Perception from the body's eyes had been completely removed from me. And it felt like I was embarking on or starting on some kind of journey of training where I had to trust him 100% for the meaning of everything around me, including the sounds and anything that I could touch. The meaning had to come from him, because all my past references had been taken away as well. And without these, I didn't know what anything meant. And so I was walking with him, and it felt like this journey of deepening trust and total reliance on him. And at times I needed to rest, and at other times I felt really concerned and uncomfortable at my lot in life, because I had no idea where I was. I don't know where we're heading or what anything was. And just his infinite patience and love and care was just so undescribably profound and beautiful. And there would just be these loving conversations when I was just feeling like it's too overwhelming and I needed to rest, and because I had to be so dependent on him. And what I, during this experience, and it was just so deep and so real, I saw further along on this journey that I was being a little bit less dependent on him. It was somehow I was becoming accustomed to the journey, and I was starting to intuit many of the things by tuning within to this deep wellspring of wisdom and truth within. And the answers were starting to come this way. And so I was being shown that I was transcending the body's perception beyond the five senses to an inner sight and wisdom. And that there were stages along the way, like the caterpillar transforming into metamorphosizing into a butterfly. But yeah, I just felt so raw and so helpless, like a little baby, like coming to him like as a child. And I was kind of, there's some of that came today, but what I experienced more was just the love, like keep going. There's so much more love there. You know, we're still in the fear. And so I am just so grateful for your groups. They have been so helpful. And yeah, there's just something about, you know, the gifts that you give and the people here. They felt like family to me, even though, you know, I don't really use Facebook a lot. Yeah, my journey has been a little bit different, but yeah, I just such gratitude to you and Shannon and everybody here in this path that we're on. It definitely doesn't feel easy at times, and fear can really come up, but yeah, to get the glimpses of where we're going is just so incredibly encouraging and profound and beautiful, and so grateful, so grateful. So thank you. Love you all.
That was beautiful, Monica. Thank you. And Shannon, would you like to say something?
I accidentally did that, but that was beautiful, Monica. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Monica, was interesting. The part of your message that you shared just then was about trusting him 100%. And that's what was coming through when I was in my meditation to share with the group. We have to trust him 100%. Can't leave anything out. You really have to let go. You have to let go everything and rely on him. And so I feel that he kind of got you to say that when you were feeling guided to put your hand up and share. And maybe that you needed reminded of it, and we all need that. We all need that reminder. And Elizabeth just says very encouraging. We are encouraging each other. That's what he wants us to do in this group. He wants us to share about this and know that he is here with us. Oh, Fran, you've raised. I'll just finish what he has guided me to say that, you know, these groups are just little periods of time where you can, you know, set aside other things and really dedicate an hour and a half to really allowing yourself to have that time to open up and let go, invite him in, and kind of just, it's like really, it's just like he's kind of showing me, you know, those mosh pits where the singer might stand on the edge of the stage with his back to the audience and just let go and fall and know that you're going to be held, you're going to be caught. That's what he's saying, because what he's kind of saying that we're still standing on the stage and turning around, you know, is he going to be there? Who's checking? You know, we're kind of trying to set it up and check. And he's guided me before that to validate trust, you have to trust. So you have to stand at the edge of that stage and you have to put your arms out and you have to fall back and know he's going to be there for you. And by doing that and by experiencing what happens from that, that's how you develop a deeper and deeper trust, by seeing how this works. And I'm sure Monica has got a lot of little detail in that story, because I know it's very similar to mine. It's like in every instance, in every moment, he's guiding me what to do, where to go, what to say, how to do it, do this now. And that's how it should be in our lives. Fran, would you like to share?
Excuse me. This was odd for me. I was, the words that caught me were that Christ is stillness, I think is how it went. And that sort of just, I just sat with it. But I noticed that my body was restless, kind of, you know, and I'd move around, and some agitation, just slight, would come up. And I was starting to think, you know, oh, you're falling asleep. I was ready to just kind of say, oh, this is not working. But there was, it was like this floaty feeling. And all of a sudden I got, oh, it doesn't matter if you're twitching or your legs are, it was really this sense of, it doesn't matter. He was saying, just, you're just here. You don't have to do anything. I hope I'm making some sense. Just, and there was no sense of having to have an experience. There was just the one that I was having. There was no guilt for not having something more special. There was a kind of nothingness that was okay, if that makes any sense. And he told me, he said, this is just fine. You don't have to do anything. I don't even really know how to say it, except that it was just fine. That's all.
Oh, thank you, Fran. That was beautiful. And that's it. It's like just that, you know, the Christ in you is very still. And if you just got to that stillness, then you're just in your Christ self. So it's very important not to compare and think that what anyone else has shared, that you should feel that. It's going to be very different for each of us. And every time we join, it's going to be somehow a little bit different. So it's very important to let go of any ideas you have about it and just kind of like sink in, just let go and fall. Just have yourself fall. Just have no thoughts about how it's going to happen. And then something happens, and it can be, like Fran said, just the simplicity of a stillness or just a feeling of love. And it doesn't matter how it comes in, there's going to be something. And we don't have to stop twitching or stop moving around for that to come in. Do you know what I mean? That's like, it's what he says. Don't prepare yourself for it, for him. You know, you might say, oh, my mind's too busy. Well, don't prepare. Don't try to stop your mind for that. All we need to do, he says, is just invite him in. Just be willing and let go. Really, that's it. And that's hard because the ego's always trying to control every moment. And we're not used to just letting go. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Was a really good share, Fran, because it was it probably helps others identify, oh, I had that too. Right. Well, that was it then. And that's it, right? That's it. It's not It's not anything more than that. I mean, what we're really going for is just an experience of just peace and quiet and stillness and maybe love or something. But that's why it's going to be different for each of us. And the only reason for sharing it is to really help develop that trust in us that we have had it, or we've had a glimpse of it, we've had a holy instant, and we can do more. And I used to like doing this kind of thing, especially, you know, when I had some time and just laid on my bed or sat in the lounge room when there was silence, to develop this. And then I was able to hear him more and more through that. But it started off, and it really is about getting past. He takes us, when, as I said before at the start of the video, he tells us just to come to him, just simply to come. And that's it. Just invite him, make a place for him, just welcome him, take his hand, whatever. And that's it. And not to compare what your experience is with anyone else. That's the most important thing. And to validate for yourself that what you got is exactly right for you. So that's the real importance of it. And his love is a healing balm for all wounds. That's what he told me. It's like you get out a healing balm, like a little round kind of little thing with some balm in it, and you get it on your finger and you put it on a wound. He told me that his love is the healing balm, to come to him, because that really deep-seated belief in our sin and guilt, he is the one to heal that, because his love just shines it away and shows you your innocence. I'm sorry, I saw a message come up then. I just want to see what it says. Okay, so Elizabeth just said that just rang a bell in her, however dim. Thank you, Fran, for that sharing. So I'm really grateful for Fran, because I'm sure she sat there and thought I didn't really get a lot. Maybe I shouldn't share this. I'm really glad she did, right? Because that's it, right? Even if you put your hand up and you said, oh, out of that 20 minutes, I had, 10, 20 seconds of something, which I've never had before. And Jesus would be like, great, that's really good. How wonderful, So he knows how fearful we are. He knows that we're sitting here thinking, oh, he's amazing, and I'm just in the ego all the time, or I'm just not good enough. And that's rubbish. And his love and his wisdom is what shines us away. And so we're keeping ourselves away from him by believing that story, that he's not there for us, he's too busy, or there's some other person, or look at Kate and Shannon, they've got something I don't have. Oh, I could never have that. Or Fran or Monica or Sean or Adrian. That we're to push that aside and just say, I know that's what I believe, but Jesus is asking me to come to him anyway. He's just saying, just open your mind and invite him in. And that's all we need to do, is just reach up to his hand and say, okay, I don't know what to do here. I've got no idea how it's going to be when I join with you, but I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. So I encourage everyone, if you can during the week, try it. And if you are in little groups, if you have got a little group or 2 or 3, just sit around and hold hands and encourage each other to do this, to join with him and invite him in together. It's really a nice thing to do as well. Monica, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, you know, I've struggled with this unworthiness and this tremendous fear of connecting with Jesus. And that's often where I start, you know, is just help me with this fear, help me to see this differently, and help me to clear this so that I can join and feel safe with you. And so in addition to often starting almost every connection that way, it's lightened a lot, but there's just been so much of it, is prayer, the desire of our heart, that prayer is everything. It's the like the medium of miracles. I'm finding that if you truly want this, that you bring it. I bring it to me through my prayers, what I'm finding. But I often have to ask first for help with the fear. And this is my prayer. I want the experience of not having this fear, of feeling that love, of seeing what he sees. And so, you know, it's a two-step process for myself. I don't know if that's helpful for anybody else, but there's been so much for me, and it still comes up. So I hand that over first, and just, you know, I desire to see this, to unhook from these triggers, and to be able to share the blessings and the joy. And but yeah, that the shame, the unworthiness, all of this stuff is still present, not to the degree that it was. So don't be discouraged if you feel the fear. I'm still feeling it. It's been years of working with the course. So anyways, I just thought I would add that. I don't know if that's helpful for anybody. Yeah.
Thanks again, Monica. That was lovely. Always a lovely share, and very encouraging and very clear and very honest. You have to be very honest about it. So I'm just going to read Nikki's message. I was wondering about old trauma during the meditation and wondering if there was a quick way of healing it all. I then had a very clear thought: undoing must be kind. That's nice. So thanks, Nikki. That was really nice to share that you heard a very clear thought: undoing must be kind. Because I guess that the reason why Jesus says that we must forgive him is because we might think that Jesus is going to judge us. I never had that idea, but I mainly had this idea that I was unworthy. But of course, that's not my idea, because I'm very clear now that they're not my thoughts, but they feel like our thoughts. So that's what we have to. We think that, so we come with him. We come to him with those. So I just also want to read out Adrian's response to Monica. That's very helpful, Monica. Thank you. I too have experienced huge fear that Jesus has steadily taken away. So that's really nice too. So anyone that's listening to this recording back, I hope that it's helpful. I'm sure it is, right? Because we all know the journey from fear to love, and that's our journey. And Jesus and the Holy Spirit are our helpers. So Elizabeth's saying, I have the trauma issue. Oops, that disappeared. I have the trauma issue almost ongoing, and the fear too. Okay, so Elizabeth, really just join with Jesus or the Holy Spirit. Simply just say, help me see this differently. above all else, I want to look at this trauma differently. Join me and look at it with me. And then just look within your mind and ask him to help you see it differently. That's all you need to do, because once you've had that willingness, you've kind of let go and you're in that space in your mind where he joins and you look at it together. And that's really the whole crux of the healing of my mind over those years. Okay. Oh, Jacqueline, would you like to share?
There we go.
Jacqueline, I'm just... All
Am
right.
I on now? Can you hear me? I show that I'm unmuted.
Sorry, I'm saying yes and I'm muted. So yes, we can hear you, Jacqueline. Thank you.
Amazing. You. So I've wanted to have more of an experience of joining with Jesus, and it's just been a real longing, and I get frustrated and all that. But recently, when I was meditating with this, and I asked Jesus to show me, a block, what's blocking me, and I was surprised it came through very clear. It was fear of death. And it, I know it's in the Course in Miracles. It's one of the main, it talks about our fear of death. So I don't have anything more to say than that. Just came up this week. He's told me very clearly fear of death was one of the things that was whatever, maybe not being able to join with Jesus as much. So it's something I'm gonna, I need to turn over more and more and understand more. And I used to think, oh, I'm not afraid of death. I look forward to death, kind of, So, but I started realizing, well, no, that's not true. I'm fear of all kinds of deaths, painful deaths or traumatic. I mean, there's a lot of ways in which I am afraid of different aspects of death. So, anyway, just wanted to share that as part of my journey. And maybe, we don't even realize sometimes what the blocks are, but if we ask, we can be, and then we have to keep asking so we can be shown how to heal it and undo it.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Yes, fear of death is a huge block in our mind, and Jesus took me through a visualization with him to undo that fear of death. So part of joining with him is so that he can take us through and show us there is no death, because he experienced that he was spirit and that spirit can't die, and that he did that on the cross. He knew that he wasn't a body. So we might revisit that fear of death in another Zoom meeting and go into meditation, which I've guided a few people through. I might have already done one on it, but anyway, it's handy to do again if you're ready. All right, so let's just feel some. Oh, did you want to say something, Jackie?
I wanted to add, and now that I'm, doing Course in Miracles, I'm now afraid I'll die before I awaken. So that fear came up. I want to awaken this lifetime, and I may not, but I realized, oh, that's a fear too. So I just want to add that.
Yeah, and look, it's just a serial dream. It's whether you're in that body or another body. You just continue on your forgiveness work. Thank you. So let's just share some gratitude with each other. Just feel that gratitude. I'm grateful for everyone here. I'm grateful for Shannon. I'm grateful for everyone turning up, everyone sharing, everyone attempting, everyone just giving it a go, no matter what. No matter if you turn up each week and you feel nothing's happening, you're still coming back. It doesn't matter, because all we need to do is just keep doing that. Just if we just every day let go of what happened yesterday and just wake up in the morning and just say, another day, another opportunity for forgiveness. And just feel that gratitude to each other for being here and for this lovely group. And thank you, everyone. And thank you to all the new ones here and all the ones that have been around a while. Really grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I bless you, I honour you. I see only your holy self, your beauty, your innocence, your sinlessness, your gorgeousness, the beauty beyond the body. I'm not looking at bodies. I know who you are, and I love you. I'll see you next week for our Christ Blessing Zoom group. Thank you. Thanks, Shannon. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Bye.